Hey everybody, Ryan here from Rhino Hockey Channel. Alright, gonna be going over the Ottawa Senators 2021-2022 season preview. Now, if you have not done so already, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and let me know what you think in the comments. If you agree or disagree on my outlook on this team and their season, let me know. Just be civil. Alright, and make sure to share the video as well. Alright, let's get started. Alright, this is the additions for the Ottawa Senators. Michael Del Zotto, 2 years, $2 million per. Okay. Andrew Agozzino, 1 year, $800,000. Cole Sherwood, 1 year, $750,000. Pontus Aberg, returning from Europe, 1 year, $750,000. Dylan Hetherington, 1 year, $750,000. Scott Sabrin, returning to the team where Austin Matthews famously said, "Who the hell are you?" I don't know if that's actually what he said, but that's pretty much the gist of what he said to him, even though he was a teammate last year. But 1 year, $750,000. Nick Holden was acquired, and Vancouver's 2022 third-round pick from went to Vegas for Evgeny. I'm sorry, yeah, they came over from Vegas for Evgeny Dadonov. Victor Mete, 1 year, $1.2 million contract. Tyler Enos, 1 year, $900,000. And they acquired Zach Sanford from St. Louis for Logan Brown and a conditional 2022 fourth-round pick. Zach Sanford's probably the best addition out of all this group. Yeah, no doubt about that. He definitely is the best one. Subtractions. They lost Michael Amadio to Toronto, Ryan Dzingel to Arizona. I'm sure Dzingel will return at trade deadline. That's usually how it works, right? Matthew Pekka went to St. Louis. Derek Stepan to Carolina. Evgeny Dadonov went to Vegas via trade. Logan Brown to St. Louis via trade. So, I can't say anything was absolutely devastating in a trade, in a loss there. So, I mean, not the end of the world in any of those losses for sure. They re-signed Drake Batherson, 6 years, $4.975 million per season, and Philip Gustafson, 2 years, $787,500 per season. And there's one big fish there that has not re-signed. You should know who that is by now, but we'll get to that in a minute. Their salary cap situation. They have $59.9 million already projected in their cap hit, with a cap space of $21.5 million. Definitely a lot of money to spend if they were to surprise people and make the playoffs. Now, we'll get into that. Forwards. Oh, look at that at the bottom of the list. An RFA that is unsigned. Brady Tkachuk. Is that the big difference maker on how I'm going to view this season going? Yes. After this season, they had Chris Tierney, Zach Sanford, Nick Paul, and Tyler Enos as UFAs. As restricted free agents, they had Josh Norris, Clark Bishop, and Alex Formenton. Now, just look at this list. Not the best forward list in the world. Not terrible. Not terrible at all. But you got a lot of guys who are probably going to want some more money. Chris Tierney, pretty good two-way forward. I mean, not top tier in the league, of course, but not a terrible one either to have. And he's only 27. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him. He's a UFA, going to want some more money, I have a feeling. Zach Sanford, going to want more money. Nick Paul, probably going to want more money too. Josh Norris definitely is going to get more money. Let's see who else. Enos is going to stay down at the bottom of the money area. Clark Bishop, probably the same thing. And Alex Formenton, depending on the year, may get more money. Brady Tkachuk, going to get money. It's just a matter of, is he going to get it from this team, or are they going to sit him out the whole year and wait him out? What are they going to do? Because, I mean, they need him to be competitive. So, let's see how this plays out, because without him, it's hard to see his team doing a whole lot. On the defensive side, let's see. Nick Holden, Josh Brown are UFAs after this season. Victor Mete and Eric Brandstrom are RFAs, so Brandstrom probably will get more money if he has a good year. But, I mean, they have Chabot, solid defender for sure. Zaitsev, decent. Artem Zub, honestly surprising. I never even heard of the guy and saw him playing last year. Pretty fun to watch. Del Zotto, He exists. Nick Holden exists. Joshua Brown. He's there. Mete's there. Mete's still 23. I mean, he still could do something. So let's keep an eye on him at least. And the defense is not a defense that blows you out of the water. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of high-scoring games once again for this team. But who knows? Maybe some of these guys take a step forward that I don't see happening, but it's possible. On the goalie side, Matt Murray. Yep. And Anton Forsberg is a UFA this season. Yeah, I really think they were... I think that was a bad choice letting Decker go. I really do. He looked pretty decent for him before he was injured last year, so that was an unfortunate loss. Not as much as unfortunate as the loss of Colin White, who was out for, I believe, 4 to 5 months. So that one hurts a lot. That one is definitely a big loss. Austin Watson, I think, is out for a couple weeks. That one's not too bad. That's standable. But still, pretty good grinding player there. Definitely wouldn't hurt to have him back. They're still paying the buyout of Bobby Ryan and Dion Phaneuf. Dion Phaneuf is not that expensive, at least. Bobby Ryan, another $3.5 million this year, but it goes down to 1.8 for the next 2 seasons, so it's not as bad. Non-roster players, let's see. This is their minor league, basically. I like the guy named Angus Crookshank. That's an awesome name. I just want him to make the NHL just so I can hear Crookshank with a goal, or whatever call they do. Or if it's the Florida team, I want to hear the Spanish call on that. That would be fun. If you haven't heard the Spanish calls for the goals from the Florida announcers, please go look them up. They're awesome announcers. They're fun with the goal calls. Let's see. Ridley Gregg is definitely one of their top prospects who has not necessarily played yet. So hopefully he can get some games in, but I doubt it this year. I mean, he is only 19. So not yet. And yeah, I can't see any others that really stand out. And Crookshank only stood out because I like the name. Alright, on the defensive side, they got Jacob Bernard Docker. Definitely, he's one of their top prospects currently. They have a couple of top prospect goalies. So, I mean, they may end up using a goalie to make a trade, get some players maybe, get a player. I mean, we had to see. I mean, they got Mads Sogard. He's a massive human being. We'll get to that later. And Philip Gustafson, also another top goalie prospect. And he got some games in last year, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him playing instead of Forsberg. But that's just what it is. 2021 draft, they picked number 10, Tyler Boucher. They kind of went, I wouldn't say off the board necessarily, but they picked someone who they probably could have traded down for. So, not sure why they didn't trade down, but a lot of teams pick guys like that. Like, I was surprised Anaheim didn't trade down for McTavish because he wasn't expected to go that early. Number 3 overall. But they picked him number 3 overall. So, it is what it is, just like Tyler Boucher. So, they needed to get more of a grinding player because they definitely have the offensive talent. They definitely need a big body winger who can stand in front of that goal for those offensive guys like Stützle, Norris, and them. So, definitely not a bad idea. I mean, maybe take some of the pressure off of Kachuk doing it. So, that doesn't hurt either. Alright. This is where their 2022 draft looks like. They have their own first, their own second, and Tampa Bay's second. They have 3 third-round picks from their own, Boston, and Vancouver. Their 4th-round pick is a conditional pick, so it may go, it may not. Ottawa has their own 5th, 6th, and 7th, along with the Islanders' 7th and the San Jose Sharks' 7th. 2023, they have all their own picks, and Nashville's 7th, and 2024, they have all their own picks. So they have some picks to trade away if they needed to. This is what their lines look like according to Cap Friendly. This is just off of depth charts. This is not necessarily how lines will be, so take that in mind before tearing me a new one for these lines. I didn't come up with them. I did not. First line would be Stützle, Norris, and Batherson. Definitely guys who had good years last year. Stützle, he was slow to start, but he had a great end to the season, honestly. Last half of the season, he was very good. Yes, he was minus 18. I know. But like I said already, for the defense, it's a defense that is not going to stop a whole lot, I don't think. But yeah, especially with Matt Murray in that, I'm so sorry. I don't want to rip on Murray, but what were they thinking with that contract? Good God. Second line would be Nick Paul, Shane Pinto, and Connor Brown. Connor Brown had a very good season last year. Of course, Colin White definitely going to miss his defensive play because he's one of the few very good defensive forwards they had. That will be a missed one for sure. Third line, Formanton, Chris Tierney, and Tyler Ennis. Tierney, not as good a season last year, offensively, but that's also because they have more top-line centers, where he was playing the top-line center probably about 2 seasons ago. So, there's that. Fourth line, Zach Sanford, along with Logan Shaw and Scott Sabernin. Ugh. Zach Sanford is the most talented one of that bunch, for sure. Alright, their defensive tandem, they have Chabot, and Artem Zub. Like I said, Zub, 14 points, but he was a +4 on this team. That says something. Because his D partner, at least according to this, is Chabot, who was a -15. There's that. Delzato, who played with Columbus last year, didn't do too bad. He was a +5 with 13 points. I think that was one of his better outputs in a few seasons. And Nikita Zaitsev along with him. Then you have Eric Brandstrom and Nick Holden. Brandstrom expected to bring some offense. Hopefully he does it this year. Had 13 points in 30 games last year. Not a terrible output. I mean, he is a smaller size defender at 5'9", 181. But you can pair him with a bigger guy like they are here with Nick Holden, 6'4". And it definitely will help protect him more and play him in sheltered minutes. Definitely doesn't hurt. Play him with the power play more often. Definitely a good idea. Goalies, Matt Murray, Anton Forsberg, according to this. And you look at those goals against averages and save percentages and the win-loss. Win-loss actually isn't that bad. But that goals against and save percentage, oh, this team needs to run and gun. Because that's their only chance. Because those goalies, they're not going to stop a lot. Austin Watson, I think he'd be playing if he wasn't injured instead of Logan Shaw. Definitely a better option than Logan Shaw. No offense to Shaw, he's a former Duck. I liked him when he was with them, but definitely not a high-end talent. And he's 29 already, so I think he's reached his peak. Victor Mete as an extra, along with Joshua Brown, both guys who played about half the season last year. Injury reserve, you have Colin White, definitely hurts. Clark Bishop, not the end of the world losing him, but probably wouldn't hurt having him either. And of course, my guy Angus Crookshank. Now, with that name, I gotta imagine English. Gotta imagine. I mean, Grant Canadian, so that means English for the most part, but still. Definitely an English name. And an awesome like that. That is an awesome name. Angus Crookshank. I just want him to make the NHL and score goals. That's all I want. Because that's just an awesome name. Alright, on the minors side, Andrew Agozzino with the Ducks last year. 3 games, 1 assist. He's been a journeyman for the NHL. He definitely can pull into a few games here and there. Cole Sherwood, most famous for the Milan Lucic punch to the head. Lucic punching him, of course. So, he's there. He's played games in the NHL before. Same with Aberg. Definitely guys that could get some games in. On the defensive side, you got Bernard Docker. Had some games last year. Maybe getting some more this year. Philip Gustafson looked pretty good in the games last year. I'm shocked they're picking Forsberg over Gustafson. Look at 9 games, 2.17 goals against average, 933 save percentage, and 5-1 record. Better than Murray and better than Anton Forsberg. Why wouldn't you play him? Alright, there's Mads Søgaard. I told you we'd talk about his size. 6'8". Dude doesn't need to go in the butterfly, just stand there. Use your stick to block this little bit that's where your skates to your pads. You don't have to go down on the ground, just stand. That's all you have to do. 6'8", 199 pounds now. Probably needs to put on some weight. make himself a little bit wider, but pads help with that. But still, he's a very large individual to be a goalie. I believe if he plays in the NHL, that would be the tallest goalie ever. No, wait, there's one other that's 6'8", I want to say. Isn't Ben Bishop 6'8"? Let me know in the comments if you know who the other 6'8" goalie was. I swear there was one more. Alright, on the loan list, Ridley Gregg. Like I said, he's one guy who I'm sure they wouldn't mind having play a few games, but he is only 19 and they could easily let him go play elsewhere and not waste a year of his contract. Prospect wise, Tyler Boucher, I believe he is in the NCAA this year, and he needs at least a couple years to develop, so I would not expect to see him right away. But you never know, next year maybe he has a good year in college, and maybe next year they give him a shot or at the end of the season. Maybe. He has to have a pretty good year. Jake Sanderson, definitely their top prospect. Playing in college again this year. I'm sure they would love to have him on the team at the end of this season. But we'll have to see. That's up to him. That's his choice because he does not have to leave the NCAA. He can keep playing or he can leave. And, like I said before, the big one, Brady Tkachuk. They need to re-sign him. He is a big factor in this team. Yes, he only had 36 points in 56 games. He's not going to blow you away with the offensive numbers yet. This year, I think he was ready to take that next step, and he wants the big money already, as we can see in the contract dispute that they're having currently. I'm not sure. I kind of agree with the Rangers here. He had 36 points. Not Rangers, I'm sorry, the Senators. 36 points in 56 games. That doesn't dictate a $7 to $8 million contract that, from what I understand, he is asking for. And I've even heard reports as high as $9 million. Now, will he be worth that later on? Possibly. As of right now, 36 points in 56 games, I'd go with more of like a 2-3 year, $4 to $5 million contract personally, but I'm also a very cheap person at times. And honestly, I don't think anybody in any sport should be making more than $1 million. But hey, I don't make these choices. So I go with what they have. And he's probably going to make big money. And they probably will come to terms on like a 2 or 3 year, $6 million contract is where I'm assuming they're probably going to end up. If he plays this season, we'll see. He may try and hold out. But holding out is probably not going to help the situation. And may end up being to where he is ending up being traded. I doubt that, but they could also get a pretty penny for him, and hell, I'm sure the Calgary Flames would love to have two Tkachuks playing together. It wouldn't be the end of the world, and except for those who have to play against them, and because they both are very, very loud talkers, as we all know. But still, he's a solid player, and he definitely is going to improve upon those numbers. Yes, like I said, 36 points in 56 games. That's not a slouch of a thing, but it could improve, and having the guys on this team more developed this season can definitely help him improve those numbers. So, get him re-signed, get him playing, and this team could do better. I still don't know what they're going to do position-wise with the team, but we'll have to see. Alright, these are their top prospects. Jake Sanderson, like I already said, 4 points in 2 NCAA games already this season. Shane Pinto, center right winger, 7 points in 12 NHL games last year and 32 points in 28 NCAA games last season. So, Pinto, I gotta imagine, is going to be playing in the NHL this year. Jacob Bernard Docker, 0 points in 5 NHL games last year and 18 points in 27 NCAA games. I have a feeling he'll get some games in this season. Ridley Gregg, center and left wing, 3 points in 3 WHL games already this season. And Alex Formanton, left winger, 6 points in 20 NHL games and 4 points in 13 AHL games. Another guy who's probably going to be starting the season on the NHL roster, and we'll see where we go from there. Others mentioned, Tyler Boucher. Like I said, I believe he is playing in the NCAA. So, not going to see him for a couple of years, probably, at least. Phil Gustafson, I will say now he is going to probably end up being the starter by the end of the season. Because, you know what? Honestly, you can't do worse than what they're doing now. So, He's an improvement already. Igor Sokolov, a winger. Mads Sogard, another goalie. And Tyler Clevin, a defender. This is their season outlook. With Tkachuk not being signed, I find a hard time seeing this team finishing in the middle portion of their division. That's why I'm picking them to be a bottom range team and a bottom of their division team. They're probably going to end up with another high pick. I doubt top 5. I don't think they'll be that bad. But with a few key injuries, I mean, they already are missing Colin White for pretty much the whole season. So, wait, Colin White? Was that the right one? Well, whoever their defensive forward was, I want to say it was Colin White, is out for pretty much the whole season. I mean, 4 months is a lot of the season. So, that hurts. Brady Tkachuk not being signed, that hurts. They didn't necessarily improve their defense. They didn't improve their goaltending. Their forwards, I think that's a little bit of improvement. I mean, development-wise, hopefully there's an improvement there. But as we saw last year, forwards was not an issue necessarily for his team. I mean, getting some defensive forwards would definitely help. But they needed to improve the defense and the goaltending, and they did neither. So, I'm still going to say this is a bottom-range team, and they're going to finish at the bottom of their division. Now, could they surprise? Any team could. It could happen. But I just don't see it this year. They have a team and prospects that is going to be a good team in the near future. You have a lot to look forward to. I mean, once Jake Sanderson gets situated in the league, I think that'll help the defense significantly. But right now, I think there's a lot of problems, and until the Brady Tkachuk thing is fixed, a lot of those problems are going to translate to the ice, I have a feeling. So, I'm sorry, Ottawa fans. I'm sure you expected more for this season, but I just don't. The way the current situation is, I just don't see it. So, hopefully I'm wrong, but let me know in the comments what you think. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on the situation. If you think it's going to get better before it gets worse, or do you think it's going to get worse before it gets better? Let me know. Alright, other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell to notify when I drop a new video. Like I said before, let me know in the comments what you think. Just be civil, and also share the video, and I will see you all next video. Bye, everybody.